Hi everyone, I'm Dave Lee from Shophouse Office. Today we're going to talk about renting your first office. We all know how is it like. You will always fall in love with the first office that you see, which probably you cannot afford. And the one that you can afford probably look like one from a horror movie. So there is a lot of emotion involved in finding your first office. Now I'm going to share with you 8 tips today to how to get your first office. Okay, let's go. Now, the first step is that you have to evaluate your needs. How much space do you need? For example, like if you have a small team, 2 to 3 of you, and you can work from, let's say, a co-sharing space or even from home, or let's say you can sublet a small space from somebody else, then you can save some money. If, let's say, you really need that privacy and you have clients coming to your office all the time, then you probably need a space on your own. Now, after you establish that, you have to move on to the next step, which is how much space do you need? Now, how much space do you need is actually a very tricky question. It all depends on how much budget do you have. It's always a dream to have a table tennis table or even a table soccer table in the office, but sometimes it always remain a dream. Now, we don't need big space like before, especially now everything is on cloud. Last time you really need big space with filing cabinets and stuff like this. But you still have to put 20 to 30% space, extra space aside for things like maybe kitchen, meeting rooms, manager's room, or maybe a recreation space, right? Maybe not, huh? But in any instance, if you can, I would suggest that you set aside 10 to 15% space for future expansion because it is very, very costly to move an office space. Right, the next point is transportation. Is it easy for your staff to get to work? Are there MRT station around? It'll be a bonus if there is a interchange MRT station around. Is it easy for people who drive to get to work? Are there ample parking space around? Is it easy for people who have to take a bus to work? All this you may want to consider because when it comes to hiring, this is one thing that a lot of people consider. Moving to location again, I would say is amenities. What amenities you have around your offices? Places like food, simple. Are there enough restaurants? Are there like hawker centers? Are there like cafes in the area? Maybe you want to do a meeting in a cafe. All these you have to consider. And of course, services. If you have working mothers, it will be a bonus if there is let's say a childcare center in the vicinity where they can drop their kids there and pick the kids up after work and go home straight, and they don't have to rush home every day so that they have to meet the deadline to pick out their kids. And services, we are talking things like gyms, very important nowadays. Every office needs to be near a gym. Fortunately, there are a lot of gyms around, so you don't have to really worry about that. Now, that will take care of the location part, and we move on to the next. Now we move on to tip number 5, choosing your type of office. Now there are a few types of office available here in Singapore. We have the shop house, we have the grade A office, grade B office, we have the industrial park, the science park, and the business park. It all depends on what kind of business you're in, where you like to be located, and all this actually plays a part. Now why is it very important for you to choose what type of office is suitable for you? Let's say, for example, you are in creative and you need to work late most of the time. Now you want to be in a place where the air condition, you're in control. You don't want to be in a grade A office where the air condition stops at 6 and you have to pay extra to get more aircon going on through the night, because this actually adds on to your cost. And secondly, you probably want to be in a space that is a little bit more funky, that suits your image, or maybe you want to have the proper corporate image. So all these plays a part. You have to decide what kind of office space or what type of office space you need. Of course, I wouldn't encourage people to go to industrial park if they are not supposed to be there, because not only is not good for your image, but it may be illegal. All right, so guys, please be careful with this. Now we move on to the next tip, which is budget. Now, budget is very, very important. This is probably one of the first thing that you have get in place before you even start looking. Now you have to be a bit more realistic about the budget, whether the budget is right, you know. And please bear in mind that there are also things like renovation, there are also things like utilities. Please remember to add them in. Do not come in and say, oh, I have a budget of $6,000, $10,000 a month, and that's it. What about the rest of the fee or the rest of the cost that you need to factor in? Don't forget about that too. And of course, there is also options like, shall you go for a bigger space that you may have a chance for expansion, bigger space, let's say just outside the city, or you prefer to have the best location but you have a smaller space. Now, tip number 7 is all about the fees and the terms and condition. Now, you have to get yourself familiar with all these terms and conditions. Things like rent-free period, what happens if, let's say, you need to pre-terminate the contract. And also there are fees involved like GST, insurance, even legal and admin fee. All this you have to get yourself familiar with before you sign the agreement. You don't want to get caught by surprise and you go in and you will say, hey, yeah, there's this fee, there's that fee, there's this fee. Hey, why didn't you tell me in the start or from the start? You know, so get yourself familiar with all these things. Now, of course, the best way to do it is to get yourself a realtor, somebody with good local knowledge, familiar with all the paperwork, who can help you to make this whole process easier. All right, I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope all my 8 tips can help you when you're looking for your first office. All right, and of course, if you want to find an easy way out, contact us at shophouseoffice.com. We are always happy to work with you. So, see you soon. Bye.